Okay, we're going to make a start now. So welcome everyone to our GCSE Maths session. In today's lesson, we are going to be looking at forming and solving hard equations. Okay, so we're going to be looking at solving equations overall, and then we're going to move on to a look at the end of the lesson if we have time, and then we'll end off the lesson there. Okay, and then next week we'll be back on looking at circle theorem questions, harder questions. Okay, so we're going to go through a series of questions together. I'll give you an opportunity to have a go at some of them. I'll go through some of them and we'll go through the questions, different types that you could be faced with in an exam. Okay, so we're going to start off with questions like this. So it says the lengths in centimeters of the sides of a triangle are 3x minus 5, 2x minus 1, and x plus 1. And we're given the triangle drawn there, and we're given the sides labeled with the values as well. It says write down an expression in terms of x for the perimeter of the triangle. So when we're working on the perimeter of a triangle, we know that the perimeter is the distance on the outside of the shape. So when we're working on the perimeter, we just add the lengths of the sides together. Okay, so the first length is 3x minus 5. So we have 3x minus 5, and then we have to add this length on. So add 2x minus 1, and then we have to add this length on, which is add x, add 1. Okay, and if we simplify that down, we just need to collect our like expressions. So we have 3x over here plus 2x plus x. That's going to get us 6x. And then we have minus 5 minus 1, minus 5 minus 1, which is minus 6. And then minus 6 add 1 is minus 5. So our final answer is going to be 6x minus 5 that we're going to write down over here. Okay, and whenever it says an expression in terms of x, that means you're not going to have a number as your final answer. You're going to have more than just a number. You're going to have an expression, which is multiple values, and it should all be in terms of x. Okay, so you're going to basically have an x with a number with it. Then it says that the perimeter of the triangle is 31 centimeters. Work out the value of x. Okay, so in this case, we know that an expression for the perimeter of the triangle is given by 6x minus 5. That's what we've worked out in the first part of the question. But we also know that the perimeter of the triangle is 31 centimeters. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, we know that the perimeter is given by this expression. That's what the perimeter of the triangle is given by. It's given by that expression. But we also know that the total perimeter of the shape is 31 centimeters. That means that the two expressions, 6x minus 5, must be equal to 31 because this is the total perimeter, and this value that we've worked out, this expression, is also the total perimeter. So both of them must be the exact same. This must be the same as this because this is telling you the total perimeter, and this is also telling you the total perimeter. Both of them are telling you the same thing, which means that they must both be equal. Now it says work out the value of x. So when we're working out the value of x, you need to get x by itself. So at the moment, we're subtracting by 5 on this side. So we're going to add 5 to get rid of it because we want to move all the numbers to one side and we want to keep all the letters on one side. So we're going to add 5 to both sides. So that's going to get rid of this minus 5. We're going to be left with 6x on this side, and that's going to be equal to 31 add 5. 31 add 5 gives you 36. Okay, so we have 36 on the other side, and then we want the x to be by itself. At the moment, it's being multiplied by 6. We want to get rid of that multiplied by 6, so we're going to do the opposite of it. We're going to divide by 6, and wherever we do to one side, we must do the same to the other side. So we're going to divide this side by 6 as well. And that's going to get rid of this 6. We're going to be left with x on this side, and then we've got 36 divided by 6, which is just 6. So we get that x is equal to 6. So x is equal to 6. Okay, so this is probably a standard question that you could get. The first part of the question is writing an expression in terms of x, and because it's perimeter, you know that to work out perimeter, you add the lengths of all the sides. That's why we've added the lengths of all the sides. If it said area, you know you have to multiply base times height for a square, or a rectangle rather, base times height divided by 2 for a triangle. So dependent on what the question wants, that's what you're going to do. So over here, we wanted to work out the perimeter of a triangle. To work out the perimeter of a triangle, we're going to add the lengths of all the sides together. That's what we did over here. And then we simplified down the expression to get 6x minus 5. We collected the like terms. And just bear in mind that when you're collecting like terms, you look at the symbol before the term, whether it's a positive or whether it's a negative. And then for the second part of the question, it said that the perimeter of the triangle was 31 centimeters. Now, the expression that we worked out over here, this was an expression for the total perimeter of the triangle. We're given a numerical value for the total perimeter in the next part, which is 31 centimeters. And we know that this expression must be equal to the total perimeter that we've been given. So that means 6x minus 5 must be the exact same as 31. Okay, so once we know that, then we can just rearrange to work out what the value of x is, and we got that x is equal to 6. Okay, so just like that, this is probably a standard question that you can get. I've got a similar question for you guys to have a go at. I want you guys to have a go at it. I'll give you a couple of minutes. And once you've had a go at it, type your answer into the Q&A. And for those who are struggling to access the Q&A, I've added a QR code on the screen. So if you can scan that QR code, you can also let me know your answer through the form. Okay, I'm just going to give everyone else 1 minute, and then I'm going to start going through the answers. Again, if you don't have access to the Q&A, there's the QR code on the screen, which you can scan and let me know your answers. Okay, so I'm going to start going through the answers now. Okay, so it says a rectangle has a length of 2x plus 3 and a width of x plus 5. Find an expression for the perimeter of the rectangle. Okay, so when we're working out a question like this, again, it says perimeter. because it says perimeter, you know that the perimeter is the distance on the outside of the shape. So we know for a rectangle, if this length is 2x plus 3, then that means that this length is also 2x plus 3. And we know that if this length is x plus 5, then this length is also x plus 5. Okay, and when we're working out the perimeter of the rectangle, that means we need to add the lengths of all the sides together. Okay, so we're going to add x plus 5, add 2x plus 3, add x plus 5, add 2x plus 3. Okay, so we're going to add together the lengths of all the sides. So let's collect the like terms. We've got x over here plus 2x plus x plus 2x. That's going to get you 6x. And then we've got plus 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 3. And that's going to get you 16. Okay, so you're going to have 6x plus 16 as your final simplified expression for the perimeter of the rectangle. So 6x plus 16. And then it says, given the rectangle has a perimeter of 43 centimeters, find the value of x. So it has a perimeter of 43 centimeters. We've just worked out the expression for the perimeter. The expression for the perimeter algebraically is 6x plus 16, but now we're given a numerical figure. And we know that the perimeter as an expression should be the same as the numerical number. That means this that we've worked out over here, 6x plus 16, must be the same as the perimeter of 43. So 6x plus 16 must be the exact same as 43. So all we're going to do, we want to work out the value of x. Now, because we want to work out that, we're going to get x by itself. So we need to get rid of all the numbers. So we have a plus 16 on this side. So let's get rid of that plus 16 first. So to get rid of it, we're going to do the opposite of it. So we're going to subtract 16. And then whatever we do to one side, we must do the same to the other side. So we're going to subtract 16 from this side as well. So we're going to be left with 6x, and that's going to be equal to 43, subtract 16, which is 36. No, it's not 43, subtract 16 is going to be 26. Okay, and then we're going to get x by itself, which means that we're going to divide by 6 because at the moment it's being multiplied by 6. So to get rid of it, we're going to divide by 6, and whatever we do to one side, we're going to do the same to the other side. So we're going to divide by 6 on this side as well. Okay, so 6 divided by 6, that's going to get rid of that 6. So we're left with x on this side, and then 26 divided by 6 is going to get you an answer of 4.5. Okay, so that means that x is equal to 4.5. So we have x is equal to 4.5. So that's what we would write down in our answer there. Okay, and as you can see, 2 marks here and 2 marks here. Okay, so that's again very similar to this question, which we have already done. Okay, now we're going to change the types of questions that we come across, and we're going to move on to a question like this now. So this time, using your knowledge that we have applied over here, I want you guys to have a go at this question. So again, have a go at it and then type your answer into the Q&A. This is a common question which tends to come up in exams. Okay, yeah, I've just realized on this question, this was a calculation mistake. 43 subtract 16 is 27 and not 26. So 27 divided by 6 would get you 4.5. Okay, it's not 26, it's 27. Thank you for letting me know. And is this higher foundation? Well, this is primarily foundation, but it can come up on a higher paper at the start of the paper. Um, Yeah, so the targeted ideally for this lesson, we did put that it's year nines and year tens. If you're in year 11s, this will be good revision. And if it's something that you struggle with, you can stay in this lesson. But we're shifting them. So we do 1 week higher year 11 hard topics, and then we do 1 week of year 9 and 10 and foundation topics. So that's why last lesson we did circle theorems. Next week we're doing harder circle theorems. Today we're doing solving equations. So it would benefit year 9s, 10s, and any year 11s who need revision or practice with the topic. Yep, we will do quadratics down the line. That is definitely on the topics that we will do. Yep, you can start this question. I'm just going to give anyone else having a go at it just one more minute, and then I'm going to start going through the answers. Okay, I'm going to start going through the answers now. So it says find the value of x. I'm not given nothing else in this question. That's it. We have to find the value of x. Okay, so looking at this question, okay. So we've got this question over here. This time we've got an angles question. Okay, now again, with algebra and any other topic in maths, it's just about how you think about it. So this is around a point. Can you see we've got a point in the center and the angles are drawn around a point. Now, because they've been drawn around a point, we know a key fact. We know that angles around a point add up to 360 degrees. So add up to 360 degrees. That's the fact that we are aware of. Okay, so that means that we know that this angle over here is 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees. This is 3x and this is 2x. Okay, so that means that once all of these add up together, because it's around a point, they must add up to this number over here, which is 360 degrees. Okay, so if we work that out, so that means 2x add 3x add 90, that must total an answer of 360 degrees. That must be the final answer for this question. We need to work out the value of x. So to work out the value of x, we needed we need x to be on just one side and all the numbers to move on to the other side. So if we simplify this first, so we've got 2x and then we've got add 3x, which is just going to get you 5x. So 5x add 90 is going to get you 360. Let's get the numbers on the other side. So we're going to subtract 90 from this side, and whatever we do to one side, we must do the same to the other side. We're going to subtract 90 from this side as well. Okay, so 360 subtract 90 is going to get you 270. We have 5x left on this side, and that's equal to 270. Okay, and then we want the x by itself. Because we want the x by itself, at the moment it's being multiplied by 5. So to get rid of that multiplied by 5, we're going to do the opposite of it and we're going to divide by 5. And whatever we do to one side, we must do the same to the other side. So we're going to divide by 5 on the other side as well, and that's going to get rid of this 5 that we have here. So we're going to be left with x on this side, and that's going to be equal to 270 divided by 5, and that's going to get you an answer of 54 degrees. Okay, so that means x over here is 54 degrees. That's what our final answer is, 54 degrees. Okay, moving on, we got another type of question that you can get over here. We're slowly getting harder and harder. So again, I want you guys to attempt this question. Again, look at what the question says. It says area of a triangle. What's the area of a triangle? And then how can we work out what the value of x is? Okay, so have a go at it. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes and then type your answer into the Q&A, and then I'll start going through the answers in about 2 minutes. If you don't have access to the Q&A, you can scan the QR code, which is on the screen. Okay, just one more minute and then I'm going to start going through the answers. You don't need to know the length of the other side. The reason why you don't need to know the length of the other side is because think about the area of a triangle. When you're working out the area of a right angle triangle, you don't need the length of the other side. You only need the length of the other side when you're working out perimeter. Okay, so I'm going to start going through the answers now. Okay, so it says the diagram shows a right angle triangle. It says that the area of the triangle is 294 centimeters squared, and it says work out the value of x. Now, the first thing over here, if you look back at previous questions over here, the perimeter, the key word over here was perimeter. That's why we added the length of all the sides, because that's how you work out the perimeter. It said perimeter here again. Okay, because it said perimeter, we added the lengths of all the side. Over here, it says find the value of x. And we know that looking at this image, all the angles are around a point, which means that they must add up to 360. In this case over here, it says that the area of the triangle is 294 centimeters squared. Now, if the area of the triangle is 294 centimeters squared, we know how to work out the area of a triangle. The formula to work out the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. That's the area of a triangle. That's the formula. Okay, so with questions like this, number one, work out the expression. And then once you've worked out the expression, then step two would be to solve the equation. Okay, so over here, to work out the area of a triangle, we know that its base, this is the base, and then this is the height, and then we're going to divide it by 2. So the base is 4x, so we have 4x, and then the height multiplied by the height, which is 3x, and then we're going to divide by 2. That's how you work out the area of a triangle. So area of a triangle, that's how you work out the area of the triangle. Now 4x multiplied by 3x, 4 multiplied by 3 is 12, and x multiplied by x is x squared. So we have 12x squared, and then we need to divide by 2. So 12x squared divided by 2, 12 divided by 2 is 6, so it's going to be 6x squared. So that's the expression for the area of the triangle, 6x squared. Okay, that's theoretically using algebra, how you would work out the area of the triangle. Now we're actually given a numerical figure for the area of the triangle. So the area of the triangle is theoretically denoted by 6x squared, but we're given a numerical value, which is 294 centimeters squared. So all we need to know, we know that this is the area of the triangle. This is one way of representing the area of the triangle, but there is another way, which is 294 centimeters squared, which means both of these must be equal to each other. So we have that 6x squared must be equal to 294 centimeters squared. And then we need to work out the value of x. When we're working out the value of x, we need to get x by itself. All the numbers we need to move to the other side. Okay, so at the moment, this x squared is being multiplied by 6. So to get rid of that multiplied by 6, we're going to divide by 6. And whatever we do to one side, we're going to do the same to the other side. So we're going to divide by 6 on this side, and we're going to divide by 6 on this side. And that's going to get rid of this multiplied by 6 on this side. So we're left with just x squared on this side. And on the other side, 294 divided by 6 is going to get you an answer of 49. And then finally, we don't want x squared because at the moment it's being squared. We need to get rid of that squared. To get rid of the squared, you need to square root. So just like add, the opposite is subtract, multiply, the opposite is divide. If you square something, the opposite of it is square root. Okay, so we're going to square root both sides. So we're going to be left with x on this side, and on the other side, we're going to be left with the square root of 49. Now the square root of 49 is going to be 7. Okay, so x is going to be equal to 7. Okay, that's your final answer. Okay, you can solve this using quadratics because you are given a quadratics. But the way that it doesn't really matter how you get to the answer as long as you get to it. But the easiest way to go about this would be to solve it using the forming and solving equations aspect of it. That's what I've gone through. You can use it quadratics to solve this, but it's totally sort of up to you which way that you decide to go through it. Okay. So now we've got another question. Okay, so another different type of question. So again, have a go at it. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes and then I'll start going through the answers. Okay, just one more minute and then I'm going to start going through the answers. Yep, I will go through the last question again one more time if you didn't quite understand. Okay, so we're going to go through the answers now. We'll firstly go back to this question and we'll quickly go through it just one more time. So over here, we are given a right-angled triangle. Now, because we're given a right-angled triangle, and we're given that the area of the triangle is 294 centimeters squared, the best way to work this out is by forming an equation and then solving it. Okay, because it says area of the triangle, as you can see, when we look at this triangle, we're given letters. Okay, so we need to work out the area of the triangle in terms of letters. Now, the formula to work out the area of the triangle is this. Okay, so this is the area of the triangle formula. Base times height divided by 2. This is your base and this is your height. So what we did was we substituted in those two values, 3x and 4x, into the equation. So the base is 4x over here, 4x, and then height is 3x. And we divided it by 2. And we just simplified that down. 4 times 3 is 12, and x times x is x squared. So we get 12x squared divided by 2. Now 12 divided by 2 is 6, so we can simplify that to 6x squared. So this is the expression for the area of the triangle. Okay, so this is the expression for the area of the triangle. Okay, so we've worked out the expression for the area of the triangle. But this is the algebra version. We want to work out what this x is. That's our aim. And we know that the total area of the triangle is 294 centimeters squared. And that must be the same as this expression of the area of the triangle. So once you worked out the expression, the area of the triangle, the number, will be the same as this expression. These two will be the same exact thing. So we're just going to make the expression, which is 6x squared, and we're going to make it equal to the number. So 6x squared is equal to 294. And then we want to work out what the value of x is going to be. So we're going to divide by 6 on both sides to get rid of the 6. And then we're going to have x squared equals 49. Okay, now we don't want x squared, we want x. So to get rid of that squared, we're going to square root the opposite side. So we're going to work out the square root of 49, and that's going to get us 7. That's why the answer to this question was x equals 7. Okay, we're going to go back to this question now. Hopefully that made sense. Um, it says the sizes of the angles in degrees of the triangle are 2x plus 9, x plus 13, and x minus 8. Those are the three sizes of the triangle, of the angles in the triangle. Work out the value of x. Now, if you think about it, we're dealing with the sizes of the angles, okay? And we're given a triangle here. And the rule that we know, the fact that we know, is that the angles in a triangle, they add up to 180 degrees. Okay, and we're going to use that fact to answer this question. Angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. That's the fact that we know, and that's the fact we're going to use in order to answer this question. Okay, so that means that this angle at this angle at this angle must be equal to 180. So if we've got 2x plus 9, and then we've got add x plus 13, and then we're going to add x minus 8. The sum of all those angles must be equal to 180. So let's do a bit of simplifying first. We've got 2x, add x, add x. That's going to get us 4x. And then we've got plus 9, plus 13, minus 8. 9 plus 13 is 22. And then 22 minus 8 is 14. Okay, so we're going to have plus 14, and that's going to be equal to 180 degrees. Now it says work out the value of x. Now when we're working out the value of x, we want everything to be on one side. Now to get everything on one side, we need to move all the numbers away onto the other side. So we have a add 14 on this side, let's get rid of it, subtract 14, and whatever we do to one side, we must do the same to the other side. So we're going to subtract 14 on the other side as well. Okay, and that's going to get rid of this plus 14. So we're going to have 4x on this side, and that's going to be equal to 180 subtract 14. 180 subtract 14 is going to get you 166. It's going to get you 166. And then we're left with 4x on this side, and that's equal to 166. So to get rid of that 4, we're going to divide by 4 because it's being multiplied, and whatever we do to one side, we must do the same to the other side. So we're going to divide by 4 on the other side as well. And that's going to get rid of this 4. So we're going to be left with x equals 166 divided by 4, and that's going to get you an answer of 41.5 degrees. So it says work out the value of x. The value of x is 41.5 degrees.